One Reddit user spent 7,000 hours playing Counter-Strike. He lost hundreds of thousands of rupees, withdrew from university, and fell into severe clinical depression. His story mirrors a familiar stereotype. A kid logs tens of thousands of hours in a fantasy world, falls behind in school, and ends up working a minimum wage job. Parents and teachers look at him and see a lazy kid with no future. But look closely at the actual behavior inside the game. Gamers spend hours analyzing complex data, coordinating team strategies, and practicing mechanical skills until they are perfectly optimized. They are fiercely dedicated, highly focused problem solvers. This intense, compulsive behavior is so powerful that it requires clinical attention. According to the World Health Organization, 2 to 3% of video gamers globally suffer from a diagnosed condition known as gaming disorder. These players do not lack drive. Their internal biological motivation has simply been captured by a virtual environment, leaving them paralyzed when they try to navigate the physical world. That physical world is taking an immediate toll. Researchers at the University of Queensland found that playing video games continuously for 3 hours causes the exact same physical strain, specifically wrist, hand, back, and neck pain, as gaming for 6 or more hours. The damage goes deeper than muscle fatigue. Data published in Bentham Science shows that staring at digital screens after sunset disrupts the body's internal biological clock. Blue light from screens hits the eye, triggering a drop in melatonin, the sleep hormone. Simultaneously, a massive cortisol spike keeps the bloodstream stressed. Flooded with these chemicals, the player cannot achieve restorative sleep, waking completely exhausted. As the player grinds for hours to level up a digital avatar, their actual human body decays under the weight of severe sleep deprivation and chronic physical strain. To understand why they keep playing despite the physical cost, we have to look at 2 specific neurotransmitters. Dopamine is a chemical that controls pleasure and behavioral reinforcement from external sources. Serotonin governs an internal sense of well-being, quiet contentment, and self-confidence. Video games are highly optimized dopamine delivery systems. In a heavy gamer, a massive, overflowing weight of dopamine drops from constant in-game rewards, while the serotonin side remains completely empty, as the player avoids the real-world challenges that build self-worth. The player becomes chemically dependent on the screen to experience pleasure, yet they feel deeply unconfident and inadequate the moment they step away from the computer. A brain running on low serotonin makes the amygdala, the brain's survival and fear center, completely hyperreactive and unstable. This guarantees the gamer will experience intense anxiety, dread, and panic when trying to interact with the real world. This chemical hijacking traps them in a loop. Reality provokes severe anxiety, and the only way they know how to numb that anxiety is to retreat back to the screen. Human beings typically learn to improve their lives through negative emotions. If a mistake causes pain, fear, or loneliness, the brain adapts its behavior to avoid that feeling in the future. Addictive video games actively restrict blood flow to the hippocampus, the part of the brain responsible for processing these negative emotions and converting them into life lessons. This creates what psychiatrists call an XP penalty. By constantly numbing their negative emotions, the gamer's learning centers lose their spark, preventing them from internalizing the consequences of their mistakes. Inside the game, success is guaranteed if you follow the rules. There are mini-maps, bright quest markers, and detailed wikis guiding every step. Real-life problems are vague, abstract, and offer no clear instructions. Because the game has done all the planning for them over a period of years, the specific neurological circuits required to operationalize, to break a large, abstract problem into manageable steps, physically atrophy from disuse. A decade of relying on a computer to map out every decision leaves the player's brain literally incapable of figuring out how to start a basic real-world task. This paralysis is a biological symptom, not a permanent character flaw. The human brain is plastic, and these atrophied circuits can be rebuilt with targeted effort. The first clinical step is to reset the amygdala. This involves sitting in silence for 20 minutes, staring at a wall, and forcing the brain to tolerate negative emotions like boredom and frustration without reaching for a screen to numb them. The second step is to seek serotonin. The player must perform difficult, unglamorous physical tasks, like practicing breath-holding exercises while walking, to slowly accumulate a sense of internal accomplishment and rebuild their confidence. The final step is to operationalize reality. This flowchart illustrates how to take a vague life goal, like finding a career, and branching it out into a complex tree of specific 5-minute microtasks. It acts as a physical quest log for the real world. That Indian Reddit user who spent 7 years trapped in his bedroom eventually realized his life wasn't over. He recognized that he still had tens of thousands of hours left to explore a massive, complex environment outside his door. Gaming addiction is a reversible hardware glitch. The main quest is waiting outside, and it's time to log out and level up reality.